Hi, thanks for watching the third in a series on building an income tracking dashboard in Excel. If you were following along from the last episode, what we built was our table here that pulls our data from our master. This is where all of our income information is coming from. And this guy pulls a week, and it pulls it based on a range that we set. So if I go up here and I change the date, you'll see that everything updates down here. Now, what we're going to be building today is we're going to build some gauge charts, and that's going to help us track our progress toward our weekly goal. So when I come back, we'll get started on a fresh sheet. Be right back. Here we are in a new sheet, and I went ahead and filled some things in just so you didn't have to watch me type it. If you want to, this would be a good spot to pause the video and get this filled out. These first 6 rows, the column A and B are both merged, just so I had a little room to type and keep things organized. So if you want to pause right here, I'll be right back. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is I want to start by doing some formatting. I know these first 2 are going to be dollar amounts. So I want to format these as currency. Then these will be percentages. So we'll format these as percent. And I don't want to have any decimal points in here, so we'll get rid of those. Then down here, this is also going to be dollars. So we want to format all these as currency. And then these will be percentages. So we want to format these as percentages. I don't know why this thing's going crazy. And we do not want to have decimal points. No decimal places. So now that we've got that all set up, let's start just entering in some numbers. And this is all going to change, but we just want to have some data to work with. And you'll notice this corresponds with the percentages. That's why I used 1,000. It's a nice round number. Now we're going to insert a pivot table. So we're going to go up here. I want that pivot table to go right here. And that's going to come from this. The pivot table is going to be based off of this data. And I went ahead and named this, I called it data pull. So if you don't know how to name a table, if you just go and select the entire table and then just go up here and type a name in, and that will be the name of the table. So we're going to go back over here, and in here I'm going to go up to insert, pivot table, and my table was data pull, and that table is going to go in this cell right here. It's going to start right there. So what we really need from this data table is we're going to need the day of the week, and that's going to be in our rows. And then our values is going to be our actual gross. And we're going to have to reformat these values. So let's make them into dollars. So we'll go up here to currency, US dollars, 2 decimal spaces. All right. So this is going to be our target. So we're going to set this cell equal to that right there, our grand total. Then for our target in percentages, we're going to want to have this equal to our grand total divided by our goal. And this will give us the percentage of our goal that we've reached. And then our range up here for dollars is going to be the sum of these numbers. So down here equals sum. Give it a range. Make sure you don't include the target or it'll go way over. And then down here, this is going to be the sum of all of our colors. Red, orange, yellow, green. Oh, well, that's going to be the sum if we type it correctly. So sum, select our range, and there we go. I want to do some conditional formatting on these cells right here. So we're going to go conditional formatting, new rule, based on a formula. And that formula is going to be sum of this range. And if it is equal to 100%, I want it to be formatted in green. All right, that's looking good. So we have it formatted green if it's correct. We need to do some formatting if it is incorrect. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to Manage Rules, and we're just going to duplicate this rule. And now we're going to edit it. So what we're going to do is we need to change this to greater than. And if it is greater than, we will format it in a shade of red. And then we're going to duplicate that rule one more time. And this time, all we're going to edit on that is we are going to flip this to less than. Going to apply all those rules. Okay. So let's change it. Let's go below. We could take this down to 59 and enter. All right. But what if we go over? Go 69 over, still red. If we go back to 60, turns green. Just a little bit of data validation. Now what I want to do is I want to link these values to these cells so that when I make my adjustments, it's reflected down here because these are going to drive the charts. What I want to do is I want to make this cell equal to the value of that. And then I just want to pull that down. And everything should update here now. So if I change that, see my values down here are changing as well. But let's set them back. We can see that they're not right. So we'll set them back here. And this one was 25. Now we need our dollars to adjust with the percentage changes. So what I want to do is I want to go in here and start working on my dollar values, and I want to set this equal to the goal, and then I want to multiply the goal times the associated percentage, so red to red. And I want to copy that down. Don't pull it into the green. We're only changing the red and the yellow right now. See a problem here. Okay, we need to adjust this formula. We need to make that goal, that needs to be an absolute reference because it's going to be copied down. And we can see it work because it filled in those values. So we still have another adjustment to make here. The green percentage is not going to adjust, so we need to fix that. And what we need to do that is we need to take the overhead and divide it by the goal. There we go. Now we got that fixed. And then we just need to link this cell to the overhead so that it will adjust as well. So my overhead is 50% right now, so let's change it and you'll see it adjust. Now it's 25%, the range goes up to 125, and the range here adjusts to 1250. So that's all the adjustments we need to make there. So now we'll get started on actually building our gauge charts. So now our data is in order, so we can start inserting our column charts. So what we need to do is come up here to the Insert tab, go over to Column Charts, and we want to insert a stacked column chart. Then we'll start with the dollars. So we need to select all of that, copy it, and select our column chart and paste it. Now it doesn't look very stacked right now. You just need to right click on it, go to Change Chart Type, Column, and you can see right here, that'll have it stacked. Let's put our data labels on here. All right. So I can see from the data labels that I need to select my target. So I can see this is my target. So I want to select that, and I want to change series chart type. And what I want to change that one to is I want to change it to line with markers. And let's get rid of these data labels. I don't really need them anymore. We'll take those off. And if we just try to double click on here, double click on the target. We want to go over to markers, marker options. We want to use built-in. Then we want to select the line down here. And we'll just make that a little bigger so it's easier to get to. We want a solid fill. I want that filled black. And I do not want a border. Now we'll just kind of squish the chart over until that black line is about the width we want. We can always adjust it if we need to. So now let's go ahead and start formatting some of this. So what I want to do is I want to put no border on that. I want to do a gradient fill. I want my first color to be red. So I'm just going to click on this, make sure it's selected, change it to red. And I want my other one to be orange. And I need to adjust that red right up to about there. I just want to have a nice transition. So we'll go up here to this one. This one's going to be a gradient fill. And this is going to be orange, but this orange needs to be over here. This guy needs to be yellow. Then we'll adjust that up to the top. This will also get a gradient fill. They're a little backwards right now. This one needs to be green. Nope, that one needs to be yellow. This one needs to be green. Sorry. And I'm going to force that back a little bit because I want to get it closer to that goal. There we go. That's not so bad. And then this one will just be a solid fill. And it's going to be green. So that gradient just gives us a little indication when we're getting close. We'll get rid of that number right there. We don't need that. We don't need the chart title either. And we can size this up to whatever we need. So to get the other chart, what we're going to do is we're going to select the chart we have now. We're going to hit Control D to copy it. Move it over to the side a little bit where we can see it. We're going to right click in it. We're going to go to Select Data. And what we're going to do is we're just going to switch the data on it. So what we want to reference is the cells that have percentage. Yep, so we have that there. Let's squish it over. That line's still a little not quite fitting. There we go. Then we want to select the original chart again. We want to Control Copy. Then we want to select the new chart. We want to right click and we want to paste special. And we just want to paste the format. But there's just a few more tweaks I want to make here. So I want to go into this. I want to get rid of these lines. So if I go to my vertical values, axis, major grid lines, and I select that, I don't want them. And we'll do the same on here. There we go. I don't want those lines there. Now they're gone. Also probably want to get rid of the background. So to get rid of the background, if we just click on the chart, go to chart options, no fill. It's also going to be in the plot area. We got a no fill. And we'll do the same over here. And I also usually like to put the axes on different sides. So I'm over here. My labels, instead of having them next to the axis, I want to put them from here to here. So if I put that to high, that'll flip them over to the other side. Then I can just kind of butt these guys up to one another so they don't take up as much room. I select them both and I right click, I can group them together. And that way I can move them both at the same time. But that's it for this one. Those are our gauge charts. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give me a like. If you're following, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next episode. We'll get to making some more charts.